Screen Time Allowance. This is our little show where we talk about movies and TV shows and games we play. I'm Jonathan. This is
Milkmaster
Zack, right?
Zack.
All right. So what are we talking about today? What movie are we talking about?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay, Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
1986.
Spoilers indeed.
Spoilers for 1986's Big Trouble.
Honestly,
in Little China.
I think everybody watched it, but if you're just watching this video, do not watch it. Just watch the
Go watch the movie and we'll come back and listen to our discussion, right?
Yeah.
This movie, we have Kurt Russell as Jack Burton, right?
And we have this cool guy that tried to chop a bottle in half with a knife. Do you know those big knives where you have those little long strips of metal and you go like cha?
Yeah, it's kind of like a big machete, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that. All right, so we got Kurt Russell, we got Dennis Dunn, we got Kim Cattrall, James Hong as Lo Pan, Victor Wong as Egg Shen. We got a bunch of cool people making a cool movie, right? Directed by John Carpenter, whose other movies you haven't seen yet. You haven't seen any other John Carpenter movies. So this was your first John Carpenter movie, and he's a real cool director that I like a lot. So you'll end up seeing a bunch of his movies. So let's start with we'll go through the movie, break it down, okay? So we start off, Jack Burton's in his truck, jibber-jabbering on his radio. He's driving the Pork Chop Express. He's heading to Chinatown, right? He gets to Chinatown. He meets up with his buddy, Wang Chi. They play a game all night. He ends up winning a bunch of money. Wang is like, hey, I need that money. I tell you what, nothing to double. I can use this knife to cut this bottle in half. And Jack Burton's like, what, are you crazy? Don't do this. Okay, fine, do it. So he hits the bottle. It doesn't break. What does it do?
It flings up into the air and he goes like, whoop.
He catches it, pow, real fast, right? Remember what he says? He says it's all in the reflexes, right? That comes back a couple of times.
Yep. Then the first part, and then the second part, and then the part where he kills the king.
Right. So we'll get to that. So he's like, all right, pay up my money. And Wayne says, I will. I don't have it with me. And they have a fun back and forth. That's one cool thing about this movie is all the characters are very cool. They're very well written, very well acted. And when I rewatched this movie with Zack, I thought, man, this movie is really well paced. Are you done there, you weirdo? This movie is really well paced. It's not ever boring. It's going all the time, right?
Yeah, it's like action.
Right.
Action.
So Wang says, we gotta go to the airport to pick up Mao Ying.
Lady.
Yeah, his fiance Mao Ying, girl from China, coming to be with him, right? So he's like, fine, I'll give you a ride. They go to the airport. That's where we first see Kim Cattrall, who is Gracie Law, right?
Yeah, and these bad guys from China show up and
Chinatown show up. Yeah, what happens there? Explain how that goes.
He's like, okay, I need to. Jack Burton is like, okay, when?
Well, they bump past him. He's like, hey, that's rude, right? He's trying to show off in front of Gracie Law. Goes up to, we need to have a little talk, and the guy goes with his butterfly knife. And Jack Burton's like, what? And then he gets out the baton. He's like, where'd you get that, right? And you think it's going to be a big fight. But Jack Burton just gets tripped up on the ground. They kidnap Mao Ying, right? And take off. They run after her. They almost get run over, right? And then the chase is on. They get in his truck. They're driving through Chinatown. They pull into an alley. Go right there. Go through there. They're looking around the alley.
And then they see these white belt guys.
Yeah. I forget who they're called. The Yang Sing. They're having a funeral, right? So they're coming. He's like, and then all of a sudden from behind the truck comes these other guys in black, right?
Yeah. And
he says, do these guys have any enemies? And yeah, the Wing Kong, right? So they show up. There's a big showdown, big kung fu showdown. They get out some guns, shoot a bunch of people, and then they all face off. Doom, 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 doom. Right? Some cool stuff, yeah? Tell me about this big battle.
And then one guy is like,
Right, that's their symbol, right? So what I think is cool about this,
and then a green fire.
Okay, hold on. But what I think is cool about this battle is that a lot of the hits that they do, they're actually hitting. It looks like they're hitting dummies because they're actually hitting these things, and it's like, man, these punches are pretty good because they show a lot of boom, but the back of people's heads, so it's clearly like a wig or whatever. But they're making contact. Some cool karate moves going on. Some cool karate fights.
And then
some knives are flying, and then all of a sudden, what happens?
Wait, this is my favorite part about the battle, where this guy, this red belt guy, was like, what? And then he like trips him, and then he stabs a knife into him or something.
Oh yeah, it goes, God. Yeah, my favorite one.
And then
throw 2 punches at me, go like this and like this, go. He was like, I like that move right there. So anyway, the green flames happen. So what happens?
And there was also this guy who jumped through the glass.
Yeah. And then smashed the dude's face on the ground, huh? So the green flames happen. The green explosion happens.
And then this guy front flips out of the flames. These guys are invincible. Or are they?
So what do they do? They're wearing some cool hats, right? And at first he's like, yo, whoosh, whoosh, does some cool stuff.
They're like,
and then the second guy comes down, floats down, just floats down. Ooh, doesn't jump, just floats. Does some stuff, whoosh, does some cool kicks. And then what does the third guy do? He comes down riding something.
Lightning.
Yeah, he comes down riding the lightning. Everybody stops fighting. The Wang Ching and the Wing Kong.
And then
they're all like together now. They're like, what's going on?
And then they all back up. They don't even care if they're in separate groups or something.
Right. They're all of a sudden they're gonna fight these dudes, right? Because then he does the lightning, and then Jack Burton's like, what is going on here?
And then he drives his truck away.
He misses them all, right? They all have cool weapons, right? The lightning guy has like propeller hands, right?
And then one guy has like these cool baton things where it's like a loop in the middle and like a dagger on the end, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes like,
yeah. So they all move out of the way, and then he's like, Jack, watch out! And he looks back forward, and who's standing there going like this? You remember his name? Lo Pan. Right. So boom, they run him over, right? So he goes, what? I just ran over the guy. Jack Burton jumps out, and what happens? He turns around, and what?
And then he's like,
No, he already did that. He ran him over. And he jumps out. He looks back. Lo Pan's not on the ground dying. He's still standing, right? He turns around. Remember what he does?
He goes like... No, he goes like...
Light comes out of his eyes and his mouth, right? Oh, blinds Jack Burton. He's like, oh, Wang goes, don't look at him. He's like, I already did. He's like, don't, I won't. And they ran off. They find some water splashes in Jack's eyes.
And then guess who it is?
Oh, it's the street gang. Hey, Wang Chi, they know your name. That's not good. So they take off, find another guy. They find another guy.
Are you looking for us?
Right. They find another guy hiding in the basement. He's like, it's okay. It's one of the good guys, right? So he's like, what happened up there? He's like, the 3 storms came and just started cutting everybody up.
And the 3 storms can actually blow their butts up to 1,000 million.
Right. So, boom, the door gets kicked in. Wang and Jack run through the gutter right there, get on the other side, and he's like, I got to get my truck. I'm leaving. You can keep your money. And he's like, all right, let's figure this out first. So they go back to the home base. Jack's on the phone with his insurance company getting the runaround. We learn a little bit more David Lo Pan about how he's a recluse and we haven't seen him. He's supposed to be really, really old, right? So the deal with Lo Pan is this. He was cursed way hundreds, maybe 1,000 years ago. He was cursed to be old in a physical form, right? But if he wanted to be young, he was a ghost and he couldn't touch anything, right? So he's trying to appease this demon god to get his young self back to where he's actually a body. In order to do that, who does he have to marry? A girl with what?
Green eyes.
Right. So that's why they took Mao Ying, right?
No, they didn't take her yet.
Oh, that's right. They have her. Aha, very good. They have her at the White Tigers building, right?
Yeah, and she's hidden a secret wall.
Right. So Jack goes in there.
That only the White Tigers girlfriend thing
Right. So they go in there. He's trying to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, boom, 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 the building starts shaking.
And then you see up top, and then
the roof blows up. Right.
Yeah.
Who comes flying in? The three storms. Right.
Yeah, but where's the lightning guy?
He's coming.
I know. He went for the girl.
He went for the girl. Jack sees this. He goes up to the guy. What does he do?
He goes like, and then he just picks up his
Jack lifts up his hat and goes, whap, whap. Doesn't do anything, so Jack just goes, like, sorry, oh yeah, I tried. Boom, gets kicked back, way back. Whoa.
All the way almost to the wall.
Right. So lightning comes in, grabs the girl, they leave. They miss their chance to capture him out.
Dad, your chest!
No! Different movie. We already did this one.
Aliens.
But we never did Aliens. We got to rewatch it so we can do it again. Anyway,
I just said Alien.
You're right. So
and I don't really remember Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, we'll rewatch it. So anyway, they're like, okay, now what do we do? They go back to Gracie Law's apartment. Then they formulate this plan. We know where they are. They're at the Wing Kong Exchange, right? The Wing Kong Exchange. Can't just waltz in and out of there like the wind. But that's their plan. Jack and Wang are going to go down there and do it, right? They pose as telephone repair guys, right? Just walk right in, all bold, go in there.
And then they're like, okay, we handled this before. Okay, let me just go there.
Right.
Lots of talking in this movie. If you don't like talking, don't even watch this movie.
What are you talking about? It's all action.
I know!
They can't just be silent and be kicking the whole time. All right. So they find an elevator, right?
I'm Jonathan now.
Stop. They find an elevator. They get in. It's counting down. They go down, right? So it clacks shut. The window shuts. What happens?
The whole elevator starts flooding with oil or something.
With water, right? Salt water. So they pry it open, and what do they find?
Dead bodies.
Hanging upside down, huh?
Skinned.
Yeah. So then they're captured. They get put into a room.
Where this guy is like
in wheelchairs, right? They're in some wheelchairs. They're in a room. Jack Burton tips his over. He gets his blindfold off. He says, "We're in a room. Some light, a few skeletons." And Wang's like, "Where's the light coming from?" He says, "The floor." He gets him out. And Jack's hitting the wall with his knife. He's like, "It's covered in steel, 3 inches thick, probably covered in brick by now." And Wang goes, "Don't give up, Jack." He goes, "Oh, okay, sure, Wang. We'll just chew our way out of here." It makes me laugh. Those lines are funny. All right, so they're talking about how they're going. That's when they learn about. That's when Wang tells Jack about David Lopan. Nice. I'm not even close to that. Wow. Oh, okay. So anyway, they come back in, right?
Oh my
So they jump back in their wheelchairs, and who comes in? It's Thunder, right? He puts their buddy up on the hook because their buddy, I forget his name now, but him and Gracie Law and the girl reporter come to find out what's going on because they've taken too long. But they've caught them also. They put him up on a hook. Jack jumps on Thunder's back, right? He's like, "Don't you even move." And he goes, "Bah!" knocks him off. And he jumps back in. He's like, "Let's try this again. I don't have to kill you, tough guy." And then what does he do? He got Wang Chi and gets his buddy, Pete is his name? I can't remember.
That's not very good movie. You know what? We're just gonna try.
Eddie Lee. Yay! So
Yay!
it's Eddie and then Wang get off and they're like, "Come on, Jack, let's go." He's like, How do I do it?" And then what does Thunder do? What does he do?
He just pops up his back and then he falls on the wheelchair, almost falls into a never-ending hole.
Right, but he catches himself, right? He gets back, meets up with the other two, with Eddie and Wang. They have guns. He's like, "Oh, let me trade you." And then they keep trading until Eddie has the smallest gun. Jack has a Tech 9, which he keeps for the rest of the movie, and Wang has a shotgun. So they fight their way out, right? Oh no, wait! They find out where Gracie Law and the reporter girl are. They're in like a crazy cage thing, right? So there's a lot of distraction. Jack goes under the thing. Eddie and Wang fight these two girls, right? They fight these two girls. They free everybody. All the girls that were hidden there, they free. So they're going to fight their way out. So the funny thing about this movie... The funny thing about this movie is that when you talk to John Carpenter about it, read an interview or listen to an interview, you know how Jack Burton is presented to us as like the hero of the movie, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, if you watch it, he's more like the sidekick to Wang's character. So Wang is the real hero of the movie because he does all the fighting, he does all the rescuing and stuff. Like, and Jack's there, but he's more of like the sidekick character. But in the movie, he's presented as the hero. So that's always kind of funny. There's one thing that Jack does that sets him where it's like, okay, he can be the hero, and that's when he kills Lo Pan. So they get out, but they lose two people. They don't have Mao Ying, and they lose who? Gracie, right? To who? To what? Remember what grabs her?
The lightning guy?
No, the big hairy monster guy. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a demon and a mix of Chewie and a mix
of Chewie.
A mix of Chewbacca, a mix with the demon.
Right.
And also a mix with Jason because all that ugly face.
Yeah, he's got an ugly face. So now, what's the crazy thing about Gracie Law is that she has green. So Lo Pan's like, ha! What a treat! I'll test both of these girls, and if they both win, if they both pass the test, I'll marry them both, right? So they have this big thing where they're big ceremony deal. Stop. The big ceremony where they test out and see if they can do it, and they both pass. So Lo Pan says, "I'll marry them both," right? So in the meantime, our heroes gather up in Egg Shen's restaurant. And they gather some stuff and they go underground, right? What's going on underground here? Fishy. So between the testing for the green eyes thing and them getting back, they keep switching back, right? And what happens in the thing that in the underground that you were like, what? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, that giant monster ant thing.
Yeah, it comes out and just eats a guy. And Egg just throws these things. He's like, you'll come out no more. And Jack says, what? Huh? What'll come out no more?
Yeah!
So they finally make it back in.
My toenails are long.
They finally make it back into the Wing Chun exchange. Is that what it is? I don't know. The main bad guy's lair. They get back in there. Guy eats a fish head, gives it to Jack. He's like, later, right?
Yeah, but that means never again, never now.
Yeah, never now, never later.
Never again.
They find the thing. They find Lo Pan's main office. They're like, this is weird that nobody's here. What's going on? And Egg's like, well, they're preparing for a wedding. That's why nobody's here. So they drink a secret potion, right? And start feeling pretty good. They find another elevator that goes down.
And then Jack Burton says, I kind of feel invisible.
Invincible right now, yeah. And then they're all happy in the elevator, and all of a sudden he's like, is it getting hot in here?
Or is it just me?
Right, they're all getting too comfy in there. So they get out into the catacombs there, and something finds them. Do you remember what finds them? It's floating.
Yeah, it's called a guardian, not a guardian from Minecraft, a guardian with an eye for a mouth for some
eyes in his eyes in his nose, eyes in a mouth, eye tentacles.
And then remember what happens when in Lo Pan's wedding?
Yeah, so what's supposed to happen in Lo Pan's wedding is that he marries a girl, right? Gets his form back, and then he has to sacrifice the girl to appease the demon god. But he has two girls now. So now he's going to kill one and then live out his earthly pleasures with Mao Ying, right? So he's going to kill Gracie and keep Mao Ying forever. But that's not good for anybody. So they get there.
And remember the guardian sticks his tongue out, does an eyeball.
It's weird because he had an eyeball like filling up his mouth. And then he had an eyeball on the end of a tongue, licking his.
And then there's another eyeball with warts on his eyeball.
Right, this guy had eyeballs everywhere. So our
even as his ears wax.
Our good guys make it to the wedding, right? They make it to the wedding on time. Jack's like, I'm gonna shoot him now, and Egg's like, no, you can't. You gotta wait till he's
full form.
Right, you gotta wait till he's flesh again, so we can actually kill him. So they gotta wait for the ceremony to be over, but they think, oh, that's kind of. I don't know, that's kind of chancing it, right? So in the meantime, all-out war breaks out in this wedding, right?
And then Jack Burton is like...
You think this is another part where Jack is kind of relegated to the sidekick. Jack's like, yeah! Boom, 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 shoots his gun. Brick hits him on the head, knocks him out for the first quarter of the whole battle.
And then guess what?
What?
Jack just runs in there, and then he kills the guy with the armor on.
Yeah, he kills the armor guy, but he has to do like a trick where he pushes his knife out of his boot and stabs the armor guy. But what happens then?
He has to go like...
He gets stuck under the armor guy, right? So he's like, ugh! So he's stuck. They show a bunch of fighting, like Wang Chi fighting...
And that's another part that makes him kind of the hero, because he's kind of trapped under there while everybody's doing the fighting, but he killed the wedding guy.
Well, right. We'll get to that. So Wang's fighting one of the three storms, right? They're doing lots of crazy jumps, right? That's pretty cool. Yeah, what'd you think of that part?
That's the master of jumping, I think.
Yeah, that was like the jump guy. So what did you think of that fight? All this infighting. Was that cool?
That was really cool.
All right. So Lo Pan finishes the ceremony. He's whole again, but he escapes. Wang Chi gets after him because he ends up killing the storm that he's fighting. Throws the sword, kills him, and flies into a statue. Jack rescues Gracie, and they get on the elevator, and they share a big old smooch. Remember what happens when they kiss?
Lipstick.
All of her crazy red lipstick gets on Jack's face, right? So back up the elevator, they're in Lo Pan's office where Thunder's talking to Lo Pan. He's like, Master, you're flesh again. He's like, aha, this is great. Doesn't like Mao Ying, though. She's being mean. Justifiably so. He goes, take her away. So Jack Burton walks up. He's like, yeah, can't have them all, right? And he has lipstick on. He looks ridiculous. He's sitting there. You know what Jack Burton always says at a time like this? And the guy goes, who? Me, Jack Burton. And then Wang comes in, does a big 6 flips in a row, lands, and he's like, all right, come on. And he says, what the hell? So they fight Thunder for a second. Jack gets thrown down. Thunder chases Wang away. And then it's just Jack versus Lo Pan.
And Jack
he has a knife. And Jack says, he goes for it, right? He throws a knife. Lo Pan dodges. It hits the gong. He picks it up.
And then he says, good knife.
Good knife.
And then he throws it back.
Goodbye, Mr. Burton. Throws it. What happens? What does he do?
He grabs it again, and then he goes like, doom, doom, doom.
He grabs it, catches it out of the air, and throws it. And what happens?
Just in reflexes.
Well, I know, but what does he do? Does it miss again, or what?
He actually kills Lo Pan because he wasn't expecting that.
Oh, sticks him right in the head.
He wasn't expecting that. He was like, oh my.
Well, he's like, oh my nothing. He's just, oh, I am dead. So he turns to Gracie.
Oh, I am dead.
Jack turns to Gracie, and what does he say?
Just in the reflexes.
He's all in the reflexes, right? All the statues come out.
Reflexes.
So Thunder and Wang are still fighting. Cha, 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 cha. And they run back. And then Jack grabs his spear, and they're all getting ready to fight. And Thunder goes and looks and sees Lo Pan is dead. What is happening here?
No, that's not Thunder. That's the next guy because
the Thunder is the guy because Lightning is the other guy.
Oh.
And they actually call this guy Thunder in the movie. I don't think they ever call any of the guys unless I missed it. But he says Thunder. Lo Pan calls him Thunder specifically. So what does he do? He sees Lo Pan dead and he just can't take it. So what happens?
He puffs up into the master of farts.
He just goes and blows up, right?
And then his shoe breaks like boom.
His shoe breaks.
And then guess what?
What?
He's the master of farts.
He just does he shrink back down or what happens to him?
He goes like this. Like TNT.
Right, blows up. So they get away.
Like TNT. Do you know in Minecraft where he set TNT down and light it? It was kind of like that, just a much bigger explosion.
Yeah, a bunch of floppy skin flopping around, huh?
Yeah, it's like it's like a guy made of TNT.
Right. So they turn the corner, and then guess who comes out with his big hat? Lightning. Shoots some lightning on the ceiling, starts walking towards them. The ceiling's on fire, falls down. There's a hole in the roof. They managed to jump in it, right?
And then it actually looks pretty cool when he's walking down the hallway because you see all the things falling down and it kind of looks like special effect.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good effect, huh? So they get up one hole, and here comes lightning coming up, and they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And then Egg Shen's above them in another hole, right? And they're like, "How'd you get up there?" And he says, "It wasn't easy," but he shoots a cool little crossbow thing down there, right? So they can ride up a rope. So then it's
like an elevator just with a rope. Have you ever climbed up an elevator rope?
Right? No one does that because that's fake. So Mao Ying goes up, Gracie Law goes up, Jack goes up, and then Wang's down there. The lightning guy's coming, and Egg Shen goes, hold this crossbow, and throws a big old statue onto Lightning's head, right?
Yeah, first, but lightning comes out like its little tentacles or something.
Yeah, it looks cool, right?
And that, I wonder how they made that lightning.
Back then it was very time consuming. They had to animate it. It was all animated. It wasn't computer. So they drop a big old statue on Lightning, and he's dead. So they managed to get out. They find Jack's truck, right, which was hidden in one of the garages. He smashes out. They go down the street, and they've escaped.
But the cops are still chasing.
No, they get there, but they're going the other way. So we're wrapping up the movie. It's happily ever after. Gracie Law says, "Hey, why don't you stick around, or can I come with you?" And Jack's like, "Nah, I usually rub people the wrong way eventually, but I'll see you around, okay?"
Yeah.
Doesn't even give her a kiss, right? So he goes back into his truck. And
that's a happily ever ending right there.
Yeah. He gets back in his truck and says, "Just remember what the old Pork Chop Express says," and he's having his spiel. They pan back to the back of his truck, and then what pops out?
Bernadette Chinese monster? Well, dun dun dun! He's still alive!
Yeah. Pops out, and then that's the end of the movie. So Zach, sit down. What was your favorite part of this movie? Did you have a favorite part?
Processing. 6 hours later.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite part, or was it all just good?
It was all just good.
Yeah, I would have to say that.
All that processing just for all the movies good.
The whole movie is really good. I couldn't pick apart like maybe that first showdown where they're in the alley. That was really cool when you first meet the Storms and that giant fight there, right? All the stuff with the wedding. It's all so well paced. It's just it never stops. So it's hard to break down in its separate good parts.
Wait, I think I got a favorite part.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Jonathan.
Stop. Do you have a favorite part or no?
I have a favorite part where Jack goes like this.
Oh, so when he killed Lopan, you like him when he catches that knife in midair, huh? That was pretty cool, huh?
Can he do that with a baby alien, though?
Probably not. All right, so that is Big Trouble in Little China. Would you recommend people watch this?
Yes.
You think people your age can watch this? It's not terrible, right? There's nothing bad in it.
Yeah, but if you're 1 or 3, don't watch this.
If you're 1 or 3, don't. But if you're 2 years old, you can watch it.
No, you can't watch it. 1 over 3. 1 over 3.
So 4? If you're 4 years old, you can watch it?
Yes.
Okay. 4 and up. Good for ages 4 and up. You heard it here first. That's Zach's recommendation. But you would recommend people watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it to everybody. It's good. They said they're making a sequel to it starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, the guy from Jumanji, right? The big guy. They're supposed to be
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah. That I haven't heard. I've heard that they were going to remake it, and then they came out and said, no, you can't remake that because no one else can be Jack Burton except Kurt Russell. So this is going to be a continuation of it. It's going to be a sequel. Silent Sense. Here it is, 2020, January 2020. We haven't heard from anything. All right, so you know. Watch Big Trouble in Little China. Zach, I hope you enjoy this later in your life when you see yourself on the seat with your feet up and your butt in the air, looking like a ding dong, and you'll be like, man, why did I do that? That's so crazy.
And by the way, bye and subscribe.
Oh my God.
Stop!
No!